Unfortunately, many of us use technology in order to offload our own cognitive faculties, to outsource our own creativity, and to dumb ourselves down. That's what many of us use technology for. That's really sad. But that's made it very easy to become a Renaissance man or woman in today's day and age. So hopefully you guys are like me, and the more you see generative AI taking over our creativity and our reasoning and our volition, the more you're going to want to unload more of that. The more you're going to want to take control of your own life. The more you're going to want to sharpen your reasoning skills. And the more you're going to want to inspire and ignite your own creativity. So in this video, I'm going to give you a checklist of 10 items to be working on in 2026 to help yourself become a Renaissance man or Renaissance woman. So I grabbed just a few definitions of a Renaissance man in order to help us guide our time in the rest of this video. First up, a Renaissance person is a person with many talents or areas of knowledge. They have a vast swath of interests and they've gained knowledge across a lot of different avenues. Next up, a Renaissance man is an outstandingly versatile, well-rounded person. And then lastly, a Renaissance man is someone who is always learning and always exploring new avenues. So this comes from the Renaissance, this period of time where people were getting back to the sources. You had a lot of polymaths, a lot of people who were jacks of all trades and master of one, two, or three of them. They were painters, they were philosophers, they were good conversationalists, they were poets, they were tinkerers building little machines. They had it all. Now, I'm not promising that you will become on par with Michelangelo. I'm not claiming that I am. I don't call myself a Renaissance man or a polymath or anything like that. But today it's really easy to be seen that way if you have multiple interests. Why? Because so many people have offloaded their interests. So many people think, well, we have Wikipedia, so what's the point of me researching and keeping my own notebook compendiums of information? We have all the pictures in the world that can be just generated by a stupid AI, so why would I work on my colored pencil art? Why would I start oil painting? We have ChatGPT that can just come up with a poem. Why would I go through all the hard mental effort of trying to be creative and especially making a rhyming poem today? Why would I do that when it's so easily produced by something else? That is the worst. Like, these are things that make us human. These are parts of the humanities. These are like the 7 liberal arts and beyond. Stop offloading your humanity to a stupid AI. Please stop offloading your humanity to a stupid machine. So maybe you're already an autodidact, a self-learner, a self-teacher, and you're just going to use the checklist in this video in order to expand your horizons a little bit more. That's awesome. But maybe you just stumbled upon this video and you're starting to feel a little conviction. I hope this video finds some of you guys who are just so obsessed with offloading and outmoding your own cognitive faculties. I hope someone out there turns about face and says, you know what, I'm going to actually pursue this. I'm going to look at this checklist and I'm going to try to become a more interesting, fascinating, well-rounded human being in 2026. If that's you, let me know in a comment. I would love to hear from you. Maybe you're putting yourself on blast and you don't want to do that. But I hope this reaches people who are just turning into less than human. But this video isn't just for those who are already self-learners or for those who are offloading their own mentality to a machine. It's also for those who are caught in the infinite scroll, who aren't pursuing their own potential because they're trapped in someone else's game. Please stop. Please make your way out of the infinite scroll. Start acquiring new knowledge. Start honing new skills. Start embracing those ones that you put down. Like, get your humanity back. Now, speaking of avoiding the infinite scroll, a lot of us go to the infinite scroll for our information, for our news, and then we get trapped in there, and then we are caught up in all this gossip and stupid stuff we don't want to waste our time on. Don't get your news from social media infinite scrolling. Just take 5 minutes to get your news from my sponsor for this video, Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a free daily email newsletter that makes business news engaging, entertaining, and easy to understand. Finding news before Morning Brew meant scrolling social media, trying to piece together events from multiple sources, and no consistent way of staying up to date. But if you start your day with Morning Brew, you'll get a free daily email newsletter delivered first thing in the morning. It only takes like 5 minutes to read, and it covers the must-know news in business, finance, tech, and beyond. If it's relevant to your work and life, then Morning Brew covers it. It's also written in a witty, conversational tone, so it feels like you're getting the news from a friend. So I recently read this post by Dave Loza. What's the story with all these storytelling jobs? Why more and more companies are looking for storytellers. So apparently there are fewer and fewer journalists, and so companies are taking their own media into their own hands, and they're hiring people called storytellers, which are like content creators, but that are in-house for the companies, running YouTube channels, Substacks, social media. This is really interesting to me because that's all the stuff that I do. So thanks to Morning Brew, I was able to stay up to date on what's going on with these content creator storytellers in big business. Morning Brew is the go-to newsletter for 4+ million professionals. It's 100% free and takes less than 15 seconds to sign up. So click the link below to sign up for Morning Brew for free or scan the QR code. So big thanks to Morning Brew for sponsoring this video. Now let me cover the 10 areas that I think you should work on in 2026 in order to help yourself become something of a Renaissance man or Renaissance woman. Okay, so let me run through all 10 from the checklist, and then I'll come back and expand on each one just a little bit more. First up, read 12 books. That's just one book a month. Secondly, write an essay. Many of us haven't done that in a long time. Write an essay. 3, write a book review. So take one of those 12 books and write a review of it. Number 4, write a poem. Don't use any kind of AI for this. Look up some poetry and then mimic that or try to embrace the ethos of that or the rhyming pattern. Write a poem for real. Number 5, start learning a new instrument. You could also pick up that old instrument that you put down. I used to play the banjo a little bit. I was taking banjo lessons. I'm considering picking that back up, but I might try and learn guitar this year. I used to play trombone. I'm not going to pick up trombone again. It would not make sense for me to play that band instrument all by myself. I'm not doing that. But start learning a musical instrument or relearning a musical instrument in this next year. Number 6, pick up math again. Stop using your phone's calculator for everything. Start doing some of your own calculations to reignite that logic aspect of your mind. Alternatively, you may start studying logic for the first time. Get yourself a logic textbook. I have a video in the description, how to study logic, how to think rationally, how to think logically. I can't remember the name of it, but it's right there in the description. I go over a bunch of different logic textbooks from absolute beginner to intermediate to way too advanced, even for me, who studied philosophy at academic level. So there's a whole list of books that you can use to get into logic. I have a hard time with math. It's easier for me to engage that side of my mind through logic, but I do need to pick up math. I love philosophy. I love all the greats. I love Pythagoras. I love Plato, especially. Above the academy door, that was Plato's academy, Plato's school of philosophy. It said something like, "You're not welcome here if you don't like geometry." So I'm going to pick up some geometry books and try to learn just a little bit or relearn a little bit of geometry in this next year. Number 7 is start something physical. Start lifting weights or restart lifting weights, or do a combat sport. Try jiu-jitsu or try Muay Thai. I don't know a ton about all the different martial arts, but the two I can speak about are jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. Muay Thai is super duper nasty. It's like the best striking combat sport. And then Brazilian jiu-jitsu or American jiu-jitsu, if you're not wearing the gi, that's going to be the best martial art for grappling, for non-striking, actually for avoiding striking. So take up one of those two. If you want to take up something else, that's cool, but research it yourself. I've wrestled my whole life since first grade, but it's really hard for people to get into wrestling. It's really high impact, really hard on your joints. I think Muay Thai is probably going to be kind of hard on your joints, but jiu-jitsu is pretty easy. I don't want to just be a jiu-jitsu stan, but definitely try something like that, or just start lifting weights. Do something physical and new this year. Okay, so number 8 is start a nature log. This is going to be really important because it's going to help you become a better observer of nature out there in the world. You're going to be more grounded in your place. You're going to be more apt to look around you, but it's also going to help you become a better artist, because what I want you to do in your nature log is when you find animals or unique plants, you're going to sketch those. If you can do the colored pencil thing, definitely color them in. If you can do watercolors, maybe do that. You're going to have to get a notebook with thick enough pages for that kind of stuff. Research it. That's fine. You have a whole year to do this. But get yourself a nature log and then go out into the nature around you, whether it's a forest preserve or a real forest, or get outside the city or something, and go find some animals, take their pictures, sketch them, and then look them up. What is this animal? What's the Latin name? What is the etymology of the Latin name? Why is it called that? Draw them, color them in, give the time and date, and give the weather conditions, and then find out some information about this animal and put it in your nature log. You're going to be making your own nature compendium. This is such a beautiful thing to do. It gets you outside of yourself. It gets you out into creation. It gets you thinking about animals. It gets you learning a whole bunch of new information, and it's working on your creativity. You're going to have to draw this animal. You're going to have to sketch it. You're going to have to become an artist. And yeah, it might be pretty tough at first. Your drawings may look pretty bad, but you will get better at it with time, and you don't have to only use the picture that you took. You probably should. This will help you get better at taking pictures. You'll be a better photographer as well. But you can look them up. You can look them up on Google and take a different picture. Use that as your reference. It's fine. But get out into nature and then start becoming an artist. If you want to learn more about nature logs, I have another video in the description from this channel. It's all about nature logs, how I keep my own, and I show you some of my not the best artwork, but it's okay. I'm giving you permission to be a bad artist. Just start your own nature log. Number 9 is write a short story. You can do this. Just look up any kind of short stories. I have a few on my Substack, Sages, Mages, and Wisdom Machines. You can just see how short stories are written. I also have Science Fiction and Fantasy magazine by the same name, Sages, Mages, and Wisdom Machines. I have these all in stock. You can pick these up if you want. I'm not saying I'm the best short story teller in the world, but just find some short stories. You can Google them online. Look at the pattern, look at paragraph structure and indentation, all that kind of stuff, and then write a short story. Just try it. When's the last time that you wrote a short story? You should do that. That is working on your creativity, but it's also working on your reasoning capabilities. In order to write a short story, you don't have to build an entire world, but you do have to use forethought in order to surprise your reader, or in order to tell a coherent story. That's going to be logic, but you're also going to be working on your art. You're going to be working on your vocabulary. You're going to be working on telling a good story that's compelling, that also hopefully is kind of protreptic, that has a good moral message to it. Or it's like an anti-moral story and you're still telling a moral of the tale. Don't be like this person. Whatever the case, write a short story this coming year. And then number 10 is just read the Bible. I'm a Christian myself. You don't have to be a Christian to read the Bible. But if you want to understand the West, that is Western society, the society that gave birth to the Renaissance, if you want to understand that, you need to understand the book that it's founded on. So you should, if you've never read the Bible, you should definitely just do that. Start reading it. Start reading it at Genesis, then read the book of John, then go to the book of Proverbs or Psalms, go to the book of Job. Get a good picture of biblical history, and you're going to find a bunch of allusions to things in our culture. Actually, in Western culture, there's a lot of allusions back towards the Bible. So just for instance, think of the word Nimrod. If you are from the West, especially from the United States, you're going to think Nimrod means someone who's really dumb. But I'm pretty sure this comes from a Bugs Bunny cartoon, where Bugs Bunny is making fun of Elmer Fudd, who's a pretty bad, inept hunter. Is that right? Inept? He is not a good hunter. He's ignorant. He's dumb. He's bad at what he does. And Bugs Bunny comes up behind him and calls him Nimrod, but he's doing it facetiously. He's doing it as a joke. He's mocking him, saying, "You're actually not Nimrod." Why? Because Nimrod was a mighty hunter from the Bible, and the people watching Bugs Bunny didn't know enough about the Bible to understand the reference to Nimrod, so they just assumed that Nimrod meant dummy or something like that. And now it has come to mean that. Unfortunately, words do change based on use. I don't like that. I don't think it should be that way, but it's the case. So because of biblical illiteracy, now we have this word that has totally shifted meaning. That's neither here nor there. If you read the Bible, you'll start to understand a lot of these references, a lot of the shibboleths, which is also a shibboleth for a biblical term, which is shibboleth. So just give yourself the opportunity to read some of the Bible this coming year, and that will help you become a more well-rounded, more interesting, versatile person who understands at least Western culture a lot better. So I said I was going to come back to the list and talk more about each, but I think I kind of already did that. I should have thought of that before I started this. Let me go back to number 1, read 12 books in a year. That should be like a minimum. You can read 1 book a month. All you have to do is pick which book you're going to read in that given month, and then you divide the number of pages in that book by the number of days in that month, and you come up with a daily page number goal. Then just go ahead and reach that daily page number. Read that many pages every single day for that month, and you will be done with that book. This is it's fairly easy. You can do this. Maybe you have a really busy schedule. Sorry, I don't want to put too much on you, but try and read 12 books this next year. And you can pick different ones. You can pick nonfiction novels. You can pick autobiographies. You can pick political autobiographies. You can pick probably not a textbook. That's probably not going to be fun for you, but you can pick a great work of philosophy. I have a read-along on my blog, Parker's Ponderings, and we go through sporadically a bunch of books. We're going to read more than 12 books in a year, but just jump on with us. You can find a link to that in the description as well. I'm hawking a lot of my stuff, but that's because all of my resources are meant to help you become a Renaissance person. So sorry if I'm hawking my stuff too much, but literally this is all I do is come up with stuff to help you study and think more deeply. So come follow us, come over on Parker's Ponderings, join us in our read-alongs. I pick fiction novels, mostly science fiction novels with philosophical themes, and then just straight up philosophy books with philosophical themes. And I write companion essays to help you get more out of the ideas in those books. So you can come join us or join someone else's. Jared Henderson likewise has a read-along going on his Substack, Commonplace Philosophy. There's a lot of people on Substack who do this, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Just join a book club. All right, number 2, I also think you should write an essay. Just make sure you have a thesis, something you're going to be arguing for. Put that in the last sentence of the intro paragraph, and then support that thesis with each one of the 3 body paragraphs. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. No one's going to be grading you on this. If you want to publish it somewhere, then start yourself a Substack, or maybe put it out on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Reddit is kind of a gamble, so good luck if you're going to do that route. But I think you should try and write an essay. When's the last time you actually sat down and argued a point? It's kind of tricky to formulate your thoughts into words and put them on the page. I think you should handwrite it as well. You don't have to, but at least maybe handwrite an outline for your essay and then write it. It's just one essay in a whole year. You can definitely do that. And then the last one I may need to explain here is just writing a book review. So pick one of those 12 books that you're going to read and then write a review on it. Try to give an impartial just summary first and make that 3/4 of your book review. What was this book about? Just get really clear and concise. Here's what was going on. Here is the plot and the structure. And then give some analysis for the last 25%, the last 1/4. Here's what I thought. I thought maybe he didn't conclude it well. She didn't land the plane, or she was too verbose or not verbose enough. She didn't use enough purple prose, or she used purple prose and that's bad. What are your thoughts? What did you think about this book? Don't talk about pacing. Pacing is super lame. That's what people who aren't good at writing do when they write book reviews of people they're envious of. Just talk about the book. What did you think about the plot? What did you think about the plausibility? What did you think about the word choice, the vocabulary? Was it a good book or not? Did you like it? Would you read it again? Okay, so write a book review. You're going to be thinking critically about someone else's work. This is really important. It's a really important skill. You're going to try to do this without adding in too much of your own emotion. You're going to do this trying to be an objective reader, but you're also going to allow yourself 25% of the book review to go off and say, here's what I actually think. Okay, so I think I probably sufficiently explained the rest of the list. I'm going to leave the full list in one of my blog posts. I will leave a link to that in the description. So definitely use this as like a checklist, and then come back at the end of 2026 and let me know how it went. Did you get 5 of them? Did you get 9 of them? Did you get all 10? That would be huge. We want to celebrate with you. So I would love to look back at this at the end of next year and see like 10, 15, 20. If we got 100 people to do this, that would be huge. There would be like ripple effects out throughout society because of that. So make sure you come back. I want to hear from you guys. If you are going to start this, if you're going to try to become more of a Renaissance person, more well-rounded, more interesting, more versatile, please let me know in the comments. And then please remember it and come back and let me know how you progressed in 2026. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. I'll catch you guys next time.